Hello everyone and welcome to Greyhammer. Today we're going to be talking about kind of expanding one of our previous lists with our Skinks, making a 2,000 point combined arms army that's going to kind of try and mitigate some of the weaknesses of Skinks and strengthen on their current strengths. So everyone knows Skinks get a lot of shots, but they're really low quality with no rend, so if those shots go up against any target that has any sort of armor, they kind of just start falling off really hard. So we've kind of made an augment to the Skinks to try and buff them as much as possible. There's probably other ways to buff them as well, but this is kind of just the method that I went with. Let me know if you think it's a good one. I'm not sure about this list, but I think it's an interesting one at least. So let's get into it. There are two regiments of about the same list, really. It's a Stegadon Chief leads each. The first one has 2 units of 20 Skinks, a Spawn of Chotec, and a reinforced unit of Kroxigor Warspawned. Now that reinforcements, you can do it at least once per unit. You don't have reinforced slots anymore. Thank the Lord. And then the next one is most the same except one less unit of Skinks. Those Warspawned are getting buffs from the Skinks, and so that's kind of why they're there. And their Skinks are difficult to deal with monsters, so kind of they're there to be that protection against that. So, as for asterisms, you're probably going to Chotec the Deliverer to give an extra 2 movement to all of your units. Itzel the Tamer can work on sort of your Stegadon and your Spawn of Chotec, but I wouldn't recommend it. I would definitely go Chotec the Deliverer because it's just going to have more utility for your army. We're going to take Shadow Strike Star Host, meaning that in your shooting phase, you can pick up to 3 Skink Infantry or Skink Cavalry that are not in combat, and they can move D6. They can't move into combat, so you're just going to make your Skinks way more maneuverable. Your Stegadon Chief is going to have Incandescent Retrices and Being of the Stars, just to make him significantly more durable. Give him that 4-up save, healing D3 each hero phase. Makes him pretty strong. And then we've been over Stegadon Chief somewhat recently. So I'm not going to go too much into it. We're taking the Sky Streak Bolt. I just think it's better. 3 attacks, 3s to hit, 3s to wound, rend 1, 2 damage, and it's anti-monster. Crushing Stomps, you pick an enemy unit in combat, roll a d3 on a 2-up, inflict an amount of mortal damage on the target equal to the roll. Add 2 to the amount of mortal damage inflicted if it charged. And then non-monster Skink units can use the redeploy command while it's wholly within 18 of this unit, and no command points are spent. So that's going to give you a significantly higher maneuverability in your army, and I think that's going to be really useful. Skink's Star Priest is not in this list, so I don't know why he's there. Sorry. Skinks, kind of the backbone of this army. Health of 1, 8-inch move, 6-up save, control 1, javelins and bolt spitters, 12-inch range, 2 attacks, 4s and 4s, no rend, 1 damage, but can shoot in combat. Celestite daggers and moonstone clubs, 1 attack, 4s and 5s, no rend, 1 damage. So, Skinks in general have gotten a slightly better shooting profile quality with the 2 attacks and 4s and 4s instead of 5s and 5s. However, their range went down to 12, which is pretty tough. But when they do use the redeploy command, when determining the distance they can move, you roll 2 dice instead of 1 and pick either result. And so that's definitely an improvement for sure. I'm also sorry if you can hear anything in the background. My dog's trying to get to me, my chameleon's misters going off. So, it's all hectic around here. Spawn of Chotec is 8 health, 5-inch move, 5-up save, control 1. You've got 2 attack profiles you can pick, the 16-inch range or the 10-inch range. The 16-inch range is more of a long-range artillery strike of 1 attack, 4s to hit, 2s to wound. Rend 2, D3 plus 3 damage, and is considered companion attacks. The Stream of Fire, 10-inch range, 5 attacks, 2s to hit, 3s to wound, rend of 1 and 1 damage, and is anti-infantry and companion. And then Fiery Maul, 3 attacks, 3s and 3s, rend 2, 3 damage, also companion. You get your Acolytes, which add to the control score. It's not that important, honestly. And then Acid Fueled Flame, you get to pick which one, and if you use Glob of Flame Acid, if any damage points are allocated to an enemy unit, subtract 1 from save rolls. 1 second, my mister is supposed to go off for a minute, and it feels like it's been doing that for longer. I'll be right back. Well, it turns out it was just my computer warming up because it's the coldest day of the year for us. So it's still going on, but hopefully it will stop at some point. Let's get on to the Kroxigor Warspawned. We've been over these guys a little bit. They have 6 health apiece, 5-inch move, 4 up save, control 2. The Drake Fang War Pick is 4 attacks, 4s and 2s, rend 1, 2 damage, and it's anti-monster. Starfang War Pick, which is the leader has, 4 attacks, 3s and 2s, rend 1, 3 damage, and is anti-monster. You add 1 to the damage characteristic of their melee weapons while they're wholly within 12 of Skink Infantry or Skink Cavalry, so gonna make them buffed up with all the Skinks that you have, and then you subtract 1 from rend for ranged attacks that shoot this unit. That's the list, really. It's a pretty simple one. We've kind of just covered it in really quick style. I do want to check something. If we go to Itzel the Tamer, okay. So technically, the Itzel the Tamer would work on the shots for the Spawn of Chotec, meaning that it would be crit 2 hits on their shooting attacks. So that is definitely more of an interesting go with, because now your Stream of Fire looks significantly nicer, because 5 attacks you're more likely to get a 6 on there. Your Glob of Flame Acid, if you just crank it with a 6, then that's 2 hits, wounding on 2s, rending on 2, or rend 2, D3 plus 3 damage. So there's actually a decent argument for Itzel the Tamer just to buff up your shooting with the Spawn of Chotec. And I might try and build some more list around Spawn of Chotec with like Thunderquake, knowing that. Because Seraphim monsters don't have the highest rend, and so just kind of taking those rend and just increasing those possibilities could be really useful. And so kind of Stegadon Chiefs, you're acting as kind of mobile artillery. They're a decent fighter, and also they're a great mobile command center where that 18-inch bubble redeploying for free, you might as well redeploy on your turn and your opponent's turn. I'm trying to remember if you can use it in your turn. I don't think so, but you can definitely use it on your opponent's turn. So just get some extra movement out of it can be really useful. I don't know why I have Star Priest written down on here, because they're definitely not in the list. I think they were probably in the list to begin with, and right, they're not on the list. Not on the list. Don't know why they're there. I apologize. But Skinks can grab and hold objectives while providing skirmishing fire, and they're not the worst in melee compared to other units. Infantry, so like cheap infantry at 80 points. Spawn of Chotec can of course provide those debuffs through artillery fire, and also they're not slouches in melee if they're against a kind of weaker, like a small model count unit. They can hold their own kind of. And then of course 2 units of 6 Kroxigor is going to just wreck. The Warspawned will just destroy monsters. That rend 2 against monsters, 3 damage apiece, 4 damage, 3 damage apiece if they're near Skinks, 4 damage on the leader's weapon. So it can really kind of go through monsters and really just can wreck other units as well. Like, I mean, rend 1 to attack damage a piece isn't weak against regular infantry units, or 3 damage if they're near skinks. So it's not like their attacks are really bad against things that aren't monsters. They're just really, really good against monsters. They're quite expensive, so you might readjust their thing. I was just trying to get it down into 2 drops. I used to run a list where I had groups of, I think I had 3 groups of 40 skinks, which is unfortunately not possible now. It was not that good ever. It was just really annoying for other people to deal with. This was back when skinks in the combat phase could get out of combat, which was a fun ability for me and a not really fun ability for everyone who spent half the game chasing them. But I think skinks are going to be okay in this edition. I don't think they're going to be spectacular. But I'm interested to see what everyone thinks of this list and kind of get y'all's ideas on it. Maybe y'all can edit it if you so desire. And that's going to be it for this episode, however. So if you liked it, please go ahead and like this video and comment like I've said. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel for more Warhammer videos. We might have some more of those coming later. Well, I have the next list planned, but we'll see if we can get some other content as well. The new Soulblight Gravelords look really good. I do need to do some painting, so we'll probably do some painting streams in the near future. So more stuff is coming out on that front, and I'll see y'all in the next episode. Goodbye now.